that I've seen. The main thing is, I think, still the main thing for companies that are going to have a long tail, that are going to be around for a while. It has to be rooted in relationships. However, I think that the speed at which people can connect through social platforms has obviously increased it. But I think that one of the things that I think can be almost self-sabotaging at some point within our industry is also the speed of expectation. When I got involved 27 years ago in the industry, it wasn't, the expectation of generating $10, $20, $30,000 a month in 4 months or $100,000.
Второй слева сидит наш президент компании Майкл Хаджсон. Его пригласили выступить как президент компании. Президент и основатель компании нашей Майкл Хаджсон. Второй слева вот сидит. Сейчас он будет тоже говорить.
At our home with 30 or 40 executives kind of talking about how we can do better. That was the first one. It was very interesting to be able to have that conversation together. But same question for you, Michael. What changed? I got to tell you, Michael, 2 years ago, you had 20 people at this event. Last year, you had about 200. And this year, stand up if you're here, if you're a part of my...
Прикиньте, полузала, инкруза сидит. Просто ползала.
And so, what I see, the biggest change is transparency. The best way to be attractive to others is to be honest, to be straightforward, and to be transparent. That's the number one change.
Нужно быть честным, открытым, прямым и прозрачным.
The business has always been around about leadership development.
Этот бизнес всегда существовал.
And for me, it was
Развитие
trying to find out what was the
лидерства,
right product, what was the compelling product that you were willing to put your name and reputation behind. And so the biggest change is that need for training, leadership development, mentoring, which is why we're here to soak up your brilliance and to leverage the references, experiences of this amazing group of leaders. So thank you.
It's our pleasure. Armand.
Блин, капец, весь зал орет. Это все наши сидят, инкрузы! Он хочет нас выгнать. Потому что мы чересчур шумные. Здесь сидят все, но инкрузов просто дофига, больше всех.
Майкл многое сказал, но мы запомнили одно: чтобы привлекать, надо быть привлекательным. Быть честным, Адам жоқ қасқа.
Капец, классно, да?
А?
Классно, да?
Адам жоқ құданың қасқа.
Вообще, я так горжусь, вообще шикарно. Прикиньте, когда Майкл, ребята, представляете, Майкл объявили, и весь зал, как давай раньше. Там испанцы
это рост,
сидят.
да?
Да. Там испанцы сидят, наши итальянцы. Смотрите, полный зал. И половина из них наши инкрузы. Представляете? Со всего мира приехали в Лас-Вегас.
Как минимум 40% зала наших.
Да.
Это как минимум.
А сколько им визу еще не дали? Прикиньте? Офигеть. Вот мы выросли. За 1 год мы выросли. Вот так вот. Это выступают президенты компаний.
Si eres latino, digan yo. All right, Val Bella. Same question for you, my friend.
Okay, well, I've been at it 39 years now, so we call it a home-based business now. It used to be a garage-based business then, right? We were logistics, right? You earned every penny you made because you got the product, you shipped the product. And people came to your house, and you had calling nights, and you had pickup nights. It was hard.
В следующий раз GoPro будет на Ниагарском водопаде, представляете?
You got it so much easier. It's so much easier. The other thing I've seen over the years is we've gone from local to national to global. If I wanted to do national back then, I had to ship it in a bus. Because there was no UPS, there was no FedEx, there was nothing like that. So I think all those things have made it easier. Technology has made it easier. The reams of computer paper, the Tandy computer with a flop disk, whatever. Now you got it all instantaneous. So for me, it's all come to a place where I really believe we have not yet scratched the scratch on the
Мы не знаем, да, какие компании они представляют.
Нет, нельзя говорить.
А нельзя говорить, да?
В целях, чтобы не переманивали.
Да. Просто интересно, чьи компании? Что тут дирики сидят?
For me, I think the biggest thing is we're entering into what I call a transformational era where everybody's worried about their transformation and how that impacts them in their lives. And this mixed with millennials and the new millennial attitude, which we love, because they think outside the box. And they're a little crazy, and they're not traditional, the way we used to think of the business. So I think it makes us rewrite
Просто
the
мне
way we
интересно,
interact with
чьи
our field,
эти
the way we
компании,
do
вот
business, the way we offer
какие компании представляют, кроме нашей еще?
to them in a whole new, young, fresh, vibrant way.
How many people here in the room are under 35? All right, that's it.
All right.
Джастин.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Спасибо, мама, спасибо, папа.
Все подкалывают. For 30 years, there were just so many there was fewer players. So we were, I feel like an even tighter niche group, but very into our own companies, where I feel like I agree with the panel, the speed over the past years has been incredible, and the cultures really identify the companies as much as the products and the opportunity. And so I feel like it's a much more cultural,
Вы заметили? Заметили, что наш самый-самый солидный из всех? Да, прям вообще самый такой мощный.
Точно.
Наш президент самый солидный. Да, она говорит. Да, наш самый мощный.
The journey of it, the journey that it gives people to, I think, learn who they are. It's like know thyself, be thyself. Most people don't ever take the time to know themselves, and I think great companies, they spend time helping people build the belief in what is possible for them. And so I think that probably is a common theme for everybody in this room is the people side of it, the personal development side of it, and the impact that we can have on the world. The reason that I'm still in direct sales to this day, when I was in my 20s, it was all about the money. I was chasing it, I made a lot, lost a lot, and I literally thought that I was it. All you had to do was ask me, until I had a defining moment. And that defining moment was when a young lady came up to me and said, I've never had anybody speak to me that way. And I just remember the weight of that conversation with her, because at a young age, I was saying the right things, but inside I wasn't internalizing the power of words and the power that we can have on someone else's life, just by giving them hope, giving them a new level of awareness. And that's what this is. This is a platform. And doesn't matter what company you're in, there's a million incredible, great ways to make $1 million. But for me, it was about the fulfillment that you can get by helping shift the course of someone's life and the ripple effect that can leave in the world. And so as cliche as that may sound, that's why I'm still here. That's why I'm passionate about what you're doing. I think it's probably symbiotic to what you do as well. So,
Michael, same question.
So I'd say,
Michael.
So to Brian, that the meaningful work, it's a struggle to be a business owner. It's the hardest thing that I've ever done. The struggle is real, and you have to communicate that it is real, and it's hard. But the rewards are also real. It's a challenge knowing that you have something that can add value, can create an impact in other people's lives, and yet people shoot you down and reject you, and you get negative feedback from people. So that struggle, adding to the meaningful work that you're doing, knowing that you're adding value and making an impact in other people's lives is what I love, number one. And number two, the meaningful relationships. I'm here because of a relationship. Yeah. Relationship that you and I have.
A long time.
And we have a bromance, right? I've got a bromance with this man. You'll have to translate that. But everybody loves a good love story. And so this business is about love. When you are in your heart and you're focused on helping and caring and contributing, you attract people.
Этот бизнес любви. Если вы честным, если вы сфокусированы на потребностях человека, это возможность создавать значительные отношения, бизнес-отношения. Майкл, красавчик.
We give an opportunity to people who can't afford an opportunity.
No, narkobaronlar septi.
We are around the world. I've walked in lands where the homes inside the homes.
Narkobaronlar septi.
Ну, я говорю, наш самый мощный.
The kids are sleeping on cold sand inside a house. And to me, you know, there's going to be a lot of seven-figure earners made within all these companies, yes, but I think to the majority of us, the goal is to make sure that people around the world can afford to put food on the table, could afford to bathe their kids, to put clothes on their kids, to put shoes on their kids, to take the kids to school.
Ребят, смотрите, какая тут атмосфера. Огонь просто, огонь. Энергетика вообще шикарная. Тут больше 100 человек, сидящих в зале, которые зарабатывают от $100 000 ежемесячно. Более 100 человек в этом зале, представляете?
I believe that, to me, it's being able to live a life of significance. We all have to do something to earn a living. It's when you go to bed at night and you know that what you did today is going to really have an impact. And sometimes it's not just an impact to that person, but it's multi-generational. You change generations. You know, when I got my phone call 39 years ago, I was working in a factory for $1.65 an hour. That was my opportunity. And I think that's the beauty of this industry. It's a mechanism for you to be able to really maximize your God-given talents, even though you don't even know you have it. But the mechanism, the power of association, the power of the word, being able to create your own future, your own reality, because of that mechanism, because of that hope and the dream. That's what kind of keeps me jazzed up about this thing.
Awesome. Mark, how about you?
You know, for me, this is the greatest industry in the planet. There's nothing better than it. And I think it's because we remove limits. We take away all the limitations. And in life, we have so many limitations on us. And for me, this is the one industry where there are no limitations. You get to dream and do what you believe you can do.
Без ограничений вы можете мечтать.
Your check is a reflection. For me, that's the biggest thing we offer is that hope and dream to remove limits.
Fantastic. Justin?
Yeah, I would just add to the group here. there's nothing like this room, right? We have a room full of very like-minded individuals. And in today's world,
следующее такое событие в Турции, друзья, вам надо всем туда поехать. В январе месяце.
It's becoming easier and faster. But when you walked into this room, did you not feel pretty good? That good. You felt that good. That is what I'm talking about. We have an opportunity to bring like-minded people together and build something very, very special because together we're better.
Awesome. So, I want to ask you a question. I haven't prepared you for this question, but I have a kind of unique view because I work with organizations around the world. I've been in corporate, I've been in the field.
Это Эрик
so
Уоррен.
I've been kind of consulting and all these different types of spots. And here's what I know. The field has one opinion, and company usually has another opinion. Not necessarily different-minded, but it's like if the field hasn't been in, or excuse me, if the company hasn't been in the field, they can't really understand what the field people do. And if the field people haven't been in the company, they can't really understand what goes on inside the company, challenges inside the company. One thing I would tell everybody is every single company is a small town. It's just like a small town. And it doesn't take long to be the town idiot. You know what I mean? It doesn't take long to be the town jerk. You know, we don't even understand, because sometimes as field leaders we get frustrated. And sometimes rightly so. And we call and vent to somebody, but if we make Susie in customer service cry, that's going to get around that whole little small town that so-and-so made Susie in customer service cry. And it's going to affect reputations, it's going to hurt feelings. Or sometimes we feel like, you know what, they say only put negative up, don't put negative down. So I'm going to send an email on a Friday afternoon to my CEO with everything I don't like about the company and ruin his weekend. And they don't, a lot of people don't think that the CEOs aren't bothered by that stuff. But trust me, they lose sleep over it. Trust me, it's emotional for them too. But here's what I would like you guys to share. What is one thing that you wish the field in general would understand about what you're doing in corporate? What's one thing that you wish they would just know and understand about you or your company?
Что бы вы хотели, чтобы ваши дистрибьюторы поняли о вашей компании? Спрашивают у владельцев компании. Они вот отвечают.
So I think that it's super important, you know, if I have a basketball coach, I find that the best coaches are the ones that know what it took to compete, to sacrifice.
Тренер по баскетболу, нифига себе.
We have one of our leaders that one of the first questions he asked me 4 years ago was, what is your goal or what is your intention or outcome with the culture and community? And I said, this is a tall order, and you know, some people might not agree with it, but I said, the one thing that I really wish and hope we can be great stewards of, and if we can keep this as the intention, is that there is no divide between corporate and field, because by nature, that's a conflict. You're conflicting with your team. I said, we all just play different roles. You know, the thing about a lot of times, you know, someone that might be on this panel is they don't have the luxury or the privilege, unless they just don't take the weight of the responsibility, to say, you know what, I'm just going to take off for 60 days. I'm done, right? Because if they do that, there's a lot of people's livelihoods that are on the line that they carry a lot of weight, a lot of responsibility. And my father told me a long time ago that the true definition of an entrepreneur is when someone else's livelihood is basically predicated on the decisions that you're making. And so I think that the one thing that we really want to foster within our culture is that, listen, we're not going to be perfect as a company. I can promise you that. And what we're asking you all to do is just be a part of it with us. So everything that we do, we try to get buy-in from top-level leadership and to where there is, like you said, true transparency. And, you know, our goal is we're going to make mistakes. And our goal is to make mistakes because we don't want to be afraid to make mistakes. And we just don't want to make the same mistake twice. We want to constantly get better. And so I think that would probably be the message that I would send to everyone in the room is have an ownership awareness. You know, it's not the company, it's your company. And take that ownership to heart. And because everyone here carries a lot of weight, a lot of responsibility, and I can tell you that they genuinely care about you. And so I think that you're very fortunate, you know, with a lot of companies that have people that truly care like that.
Yeah, that's great.
I think that everything that we do
Я думаю, все, что мы делаем в корпоративном офисе, это все, чтобы сделать это привлекательным для вас. Мы действуем из принципа взаимного уважения. Я использую это выражение, потому что мы все мама и папа. Нам нужно любить нашу команду. Мы всех любим. Мы должны защищать как отец. Это моя роль и ваша роль.
We're in this together. I mean, that's it. We're in this together, and it's not I go, it's we go. And ego is the
это не то, что я пошел, это мы пошли.
We've not done anything in our history to create distrust and to just respect it. So,
love that.
Woo!
Well, let me just first start by saying that when I was in the field, you know, as a top earner of many companies, one of the things that I noticed was it was a very easy life. It was a life where I could go recruit, be on the beach, you know, recruit, be at a party, recruit, be somewhere else, working, doing meetings. That's fantastic. Corporate-wise, now we are like 24/7 grinding every night, and I bet you every single person in this panel right now, they don't sleep as much as I mean. I sleep 3 hours a day, but we're lucky. But the reason for that is that we want to make sure that you guys have the tools and you guys have a company in the future. See, one of the things that you don't understand as a distributor that I want you to understand is that, let's just say our company or anybody's company here, we have every single life. I feel I have every single life and family on my shoulders. And if I fail millions of, well, actually thousands and thousands of people, and people they can serve. So we stay up every single night making sure that every error is fixed, everything is that, and we do get the calls. But guess what? We have to draw a line where we can say, okay, this is valid and this is not, because we want to make sure that you have a future here within these companies, that your grandkids can have a great life, that your great grandkids can have a great life. So you have to understand one thing. This is what we're growing. It's not just a business, it's a family. And if you can understand that, and if you can understand that, just that little bit, you can defend it like it was your own, like it is your own, and defend it with everything you can, because every time you jab at it, you're destroying a brick that is holding up the fort, that is holding up these companies up in the air.
Woo!
For me, I spent 28 years in the field, and I've been in corporate for 11. And the only reason I went corporate is because I wanted an opportunity to build the company I would want to be an associate of or a distributor of. And so, to answer your question, the one thing I would want the field to know is that we are here to really protect your legacy, which means at times we have to make the tough decisions, the tough love, the mama, papa love you were talking about, but we need to do that in order to protect your legacy. Because you don't have to, look around too much to figure out that when people have not done that, they've destroyed the legacy. And sometimes they've done it trying to be nice to you, but in being nice to you, they actually undermined your future and the future of your future generations. So if there was one thing I want the field to know is that we're here to protect that legacy. Even at times, it's not going to be the kind of things you want to hear, but at the end of the day, it's what's going to make it work. And eventually, one day, you will thank us for those decisions we made, because that's what we had to do in order to make sure that this thing would stay along. It would stay around for a long, long time.
Our number one job is to earn your trust and then keep it.
Какая это ответственность быть президентом компании, беспокоиться каждую секунду.
Don't start judging until you have all the facts and make sure you get those and that you go direct, because sometimes we can write terrible stories and we can create all kinds of scenarios in our mind to find out that when we really get down to the facts, that isn't the situation, and it can damage your career, it can damage your team, and we need to be careful about that, especially as leaders. Leaders in your company, you need to be careful to make sure that you first have that trust of the field and that you use that and respect it with caution, because as you do that, everyone's looking to you as you become a great leader and you're under that microscope with them. And most of the time you'll find the company is not intentionally doing anything to harm you. They really are trying to do the best thing that they think is right at that moment. And when you find that out, it'll change everything for you. So just don't jump to those conclusions, and love them the way they want to love you.
Love that. Justin?
Yeah, just we'll add on to what you've already heard. But, I've worked with some great companies. And, I've worked with a company that's been around for 60 plus years now. And, when you've been around that long as a company, you've ran into situations where there's been an erosion of trust. And the hardest thing for me was when you were trying to do the right thing, but the field sometimes looked at it as a takeaway, if you will. And in all honesty, that's where I think the most important piece is to separate, is that as a company, we're working our best to make sure that we're making the right decisions. Do we always make the right decision? No. Sometimes we make the wrong decision. But we learn from it. And I think the one thing that I've learned is to really keep your field engaged and involved every step of the way. And we do our best to do that and continue to do that to make sure that when those decisions are made, there's an understanding. I think the worst decision is a decision that's made and communicated very poorly. It's very important to make sure that you're in step with your field leadership. And I think that's probably the one thing I just want to make people understand, that it's for the good. And in the regulatory environment that we live in right now, I know a lot of those conversations that are happening behind the scenes and decisions being made, people are thinking that it's not in the right direction. But in actuality, what's happening right now is going to make us stronger. It's going to make us better, and I feel like it's good for everyone.
The reason, and give a round of applause. The reason, you might be wondering, why are we having this conversation? Because I think knowledge is power. Understanding what your role is, understanding what corporate's role is, all of this builds belief, overall belief in the ability to present this to others in a way with conviction, to be able to know the partnership that exists here, to be able to know the relationship that exists here. It's really important to be able to kind of understand this, and part of GoPro Green Mastery is building that belief, building that vision, so you go out with more conviction. So I've got one more question for each of you, same question, but before I do that, has anybody noticed Armand's shoes? Check those shoes out, Armand. Those shoes are fancy.
Блестящие, да.
Fancy shoes. Look at Ryan's shoes. Ryan's are like, look at those. Look at those things.
Ой, не могу. У всех такие туфли, да? Прикольные.
One more question. We'll start here. And kind of a combined question. What opportunities do you see in the future? And what can field leaders do?
Какие возможности вы видите в будущем?
Help to capture those opportunities.
И что лидеры могут делать на местах, чтобы...
The first and foremost thing that you just said that I think is important to reiterate is we talk about 3 pillars of belief, and one of the things that I love about what you do is if someone comes here, I say that your success can be based and predicated on like school, right? Your belief in yourself, your belief in the company that you're with, and the belief in our industry. If any one of those things wavers, that school's going to fall, and you're going to sabotage your own ability to succeed. And you can only build something to the level that you believe it can be built.
Говорит про 3 веры, которые мы сюда на обучениях рассказываем. Верьте в себя, верьте в компанию, верьте в свой продукт, и все получится.
People have faith in those that have faith in other people. So the one thing I can promise each and every one of you is that stay relevant, stay in front, and stay focused on what you can give, not what you can give. The reality of it is that I don't care what compensation plan you're working with, what company you're working with, if you're going to do something long term, right, not here today, gone tomorrow, in terms of what you're going to create from a legacy perspective for yourself and for others, you're going to get rewarded directly and indirectly for the value that you're bringing to other people. So I think that, you know, the platforms are going to shift, platforms are going to change. The opportunity, I think, is about continuing to focus on what value you have to give. And the more that you grow, the more you have to give, the more you have to contribute. And by the way, you're going to find the more that you're going to accumulate in that process. Not just financially, but I think also fulfillment. So I hope that answered your question.
Totally. Michael.
The biggest opportunity is to transform lives, to improve lives, to make life better
Трансформировать жизнь, улучшать жизнь.
There's nothing greater than to know that you've added value, you've created a measurable impact in the quality of somebody's life. And so that's the biggest opportunity that we all have. The opportunity to enable somebody to be a business owner, in my mind, is the best opportunity to create financial independence. And so that's number one, is the ability to impact, transform, to improve, это возможность влиять, улучшать жизнь других людей. Нет ничего лучше, чем сэкономить кому-нибудь денег и положить их в карман. Я хочу, чтобы люди на местах делали больше. Уровень моральных ценностей был выше. Это ваше добродетель. То, что вы делаете, это вы и есть. Попросите разрешения. Say fantastic. And if they say yes, fantastic. But whether you're online or offline, make sure that you ask permission to proceed. And if you don't have permission, then you don't have the right to enter the world.
Обязательно спрашивайте разрешение, прежде чем кому-то дать такую возможность. Michael Trump.
I see is that there's a lot of people that are hungry. And I'm not talking about just hungry to do something, but hungry, like they need to eat around the world. And to be honest with you, this opportunity gives you the best opportunity to show somebody how to fish instead of handing them fish. For example, here's one of the deals that that people have told me. He goes, Armand, you've made so much money. Okay, why not just hand a couple $1 million to this organization so they can feed all these kids?
Его Армани зовут, да?
They can feed all these kids in Latin America. Well, here's the deal, my friends. I'd rather come in and make sure that you guys have the tools to show every single person that you can touch how to build an income. Even if it's just a few dollars a week, doesn't matter if it's a few dollars a day, but guess what? That is life-changing money. That is money that you are going to change people. The more people you change, the more money you will make.
Чем больше судеб людей вы измените, тем больше денег вы заработаете. Ключевая мысль.
In the last 10 years, 59 million Americans joined the gig economy. Today, 59 million Americans are involved in a gig economy. That's 40% of working Americans are involved in some kind of gig. There's no, and it's kind of clear why. They're not making enough money, they're not living a life of significance, they're not having the experiences that we provide in our industry. In the next 5 years, and this is just from studies that are being made by scholars, this is a scholarly research paper that's done. In the next 5 years, another 40%, that's over 100 million Americans. We're talking, and I know this is an international group, and I think you can expand that to any country in the world. 100 million Americans, one of the richest countries in the world, 100 million Americans are going to be involved in some kind of a gig. For how much? $500 to $1,500. Not millions, not six-figure. They want $500 to $1,500 a month, which is the absolute sweet spot for our industry. What we got to do, what we all have to do together, this is why this event is so amazing, because you give us the tools, you give us the platform to be able to do this, is we need to go back and talk to more people than we've ever talked to. Because they're obviously looking. Nobody wakes up one day in the morning and says, I want to be an Uber driver. Right? Oh, I'm just going to use my car and go drive people around. People don't just do that. They do that because they want freedom and flexibility. Guys, we were the original gig economy. We're the ultimate gig opportunity. So why not just go out and really start sharing that? But this is what you need to do. Don't overhype it. It doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. $500 to $1,500 a month would change people's lives in this country, and you can bet around the world. So if we don't overhype the opportunity, and we are very clear about what it takes to do it, and then we provide them the tools and the technology to do that, folks, we are going to have such a renaissance of this industry when everybody thinks we're not relevant. Well, we're probably the most relevant thing that's ever been in the history of the world. The greatest migration of people from the E quadrant to the B quadrant is happening right now as we sit right here. So let's go get them.
You know, for me, it's about, we talk about transformation, and you need to become the most attractive ambassadors for this industry that the world has ever seen. We need to go out there and be unstoppable in our attitudes, in everything that we do, so that people see how attractive this industry is, that they become fans. And you're a little crazy about this. We need to get a little crazy. We need to become those raving fans so that people are curious what we're doing and want to be part of this rather than be embarrassed about it. And I think that's one of the greatest things we can do, is to change the image of this industry, to show people this is
эти мужчины президенты компании. И один из них наш президент Майкл Хатчинсон.
This is life-changing. This is transformational. This removes the barriers for the average individual and gives them the opportunity they've always dreamed of.
Love that. Justin.
Yeah, the greatest opportunity is really going to continue to be the opportunity, and what you do with that opportunity. I see as technology comes and starts playing a bigger and bigger role in what we do and how we do it. It goes back to how important it is, the relationships that you build and establish through this space is greater than anywhere else. And so what you do with that and how you add upon that is going to continue to really separate us from what's happening in the world today. And just to build on what Iman was talking about, what you do with your success and how you build your organizations and how you participate in bigger adventures and helping other people is really what we're going to be known for.
Love that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of different corporate executives, corporate employees and executives here at this event. If you are involved in a corporation on a corporate side, would you please stand up so we can honor you?
Вот сейчас встали все президенты компаний, да? Но не все вышли на сцену. Это президенты сетевых компаний по всему миру сейчас поднялись. Но вот только самые лучшие на сцене.
Give a big round of applause for Mr. Brian Underwood, Michael Hutchinson.
I am so excited to be here. Living, caring, giving, sharing. Boy, oh boy, I love to work with the daring. A magic million? Can you imagine such? Of course you can. We've got the touch. I'm small and got your own, but I'm better than belief. I'm leading by example. So